Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the Industry IoT virtual workshop series. As most of you know, today we are lucky to have Roberto Napione from SKF Group. Roberto is the head of Machine Center of Excellence. He will be hosting the session today. The focus is all about, the digitization journey underway at SKF Group. He'll speak about some, the potential impact on manufacturing flexibility and production quality, and all around smart and digital manufacturing. If you guys have any questions, please post them in the Q&A chat room at the bottom of the screen, and Roberto will do his best to answer them. I think we have a presentation that's about 25 minutes in duration, so if we can perhaps do the Q&A nearer the end, that would be great. But of course, if you have any questions along the way, please ask them, and I will prompt Roberto to try and answer them. So that's it from me. Roberto, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dan, and thanks to all of you for the invitation. My name is Roberto Napione. I work in manufacturing since the beginning. Now my responsibility is to work in the machines, have a look into how to transform the machines and the technology to fit in IoT and Industry 4.0. My presentation will be concerning some SKF introduction, even if I will talk deeply in architecture of in manufacturing, and then we can see a little bit the road to the digitalization, what is Industry 4.0 for us, and what is ongoing in production. Let's say, talk about some examples and some key messages. So let's start with SKF in general, just to have an introduction of what SKF is doing. It's a company which is established in 1907. With a sales of around 78 billion SEK, 45,000 employees, 103 manufacturing units, presence in 130 countries, 70,000 location in distribution dealers, and the global certification in quality and environment as well. So it's quite a big company with, let's say, different segment of productions. So we have industrial sales, which are distributed in industrial distribution, heavy industry, aerospace, energy, railways. Wine, automotive, we have application in car and light trucks, vehicle market. So it's quite a fragmentation, different segment of productions. IoT for us is becoming use of data and transmit data extremely important. We have two value propositions to meet the different needs. One is the rotating equipment performance, which we can really work on right solution, right performance, and product with the right product, the right cost in the right time. Coming very quickly in the vision and mission, for SKF, there is a word of reliable rotation, and we want to be the undisputed leader in bearing business. Say, working in the strategic priority, you see customer is our first, but if you look at the point 3, is really the world-class manufacturing. So we were planning a big revolutions in the world-class manufacturing, and I'm going to explain you what world-class manufacturing is for SKF. For sure, smart data is one of the most important area in which we are working, both in manufacturing, both in running business with our product. So data feed, connected the sensor systems all together with our product, within our machine, with our facility is, let's say, the first step we are actually doing. This is a fundamental step in the direction of IoT, Industry 4.0. Intelligence, big data management is the area in which everyone who wants to explore Industry 4.0 has to work, and we are, let's say, massively working also in this direction. Nevertheless, all our facility, all our organization is, let's say, started already to provide the right infrastructure to run this kind of revolutions. So basically cloud solution, cloud architecture, which are fitting for our internal external activity. the part of Windows, so how to display the things. We are, let's say, massively working in the mobility as well. Let's say we will talk a little bit much more what what this means for manufacturing, but for sure mobility and connecting the people working is an important step. Now coming directly in the manufacturing, there are different aspects, and I want to talk a little bit about this picture because it's the fundamental circle in which we have, let's say, every manufacturing is now engaged in to make a change. The first of all is data security is an important step. Design the right architecture to provide security is extremely important, especially when we are managing data which are sometimes go to the customer. The digital twin, we will come a little bit into the details of what we are, let's say, thinking and we are applying in the area of the digital twin. But by the way, connecting the product to the production and the shipments and directly to the customer is an important area of working. Mobility, as I said, internal mobility, there are specific apps in which we can understand in real time what is happening and let's say with some prognostic what is going to happen. Robotics, integration of robot, integration of robot making activity, not only handling parts, is a step which is actually running. Optimize flow, rationalization of the material, rationalization of the flow, and the use of AGV or smart, let's say, vehicle that can, let's say, really make the handling of parts and any components internally the factory rationalized and cheap and very precise is another area of work. Connectivity. All the shop floor has to be connected, and to be honest, this is an area in which not all the factory are let's say connected in the right way. So to build infrastructure and to make standards infrastructure into that, we will talk about standard as a keyword for our investment, for our application. It is ongoing and important. Industrial internet, 5G applications, and let's say wireless connection, it is a fundamental step. You cannot do without that. Real-time action taking is for sure relating to the mobility, is relating to the communication, real-time informations, but also intelligent machines in which some decision is taking at the machine level, is not let's say taking within normal decision process. Continuous improvement is in this way easy but fundamental. Predictive maintenance, in a way all the activity relating to engineering in the shop floor, maintenance people, extractions, prognostic and predictive of the events that can happen into the machines is now possible. Is possible in a way that you can organize your activity in the shop floor by that. Traceability is an enormous step forward. We can arrive at different level of traceability, traceability is concerning data relating to quality, is concerning data relating to manufacturing, is also embedded the part of authentication of the product, ingenuity of the production. Supply chain can be in a way transformed by that, having a real, let's say, higher level of make to order. We have not to forget at the end people, because the skill development and the transformation which is ongoing inside the factory by these revolutions is, let's say, to be evaluated in the right way. So people is still the key of the transformations, and the skill, right skill to the people is an area in which all the units today are working. So we are making a lot of awareness, knowledge, but also to develop a specific skill, especially in the IT area. Then we enter a little bit into our principle, the law for digitalization in SKF, the learning that we have done, and let's say the principle we are following. First of all, let's say Industry 4.0 is a seamless experience, is a journey. So the experience are changing every day, and by different experience, by different learning, we have to self-adapt our decision. We have to continuously readjust the way of working. That is also very interesting, and to know that is not a status that you can achieve tomorrow, but is really a journey in which step by step you can improve. Another important principle is the IoT security and standard, which are the things are quite connected, but building standardizations and the scalability in our, let's say, IT architecture, IT structure, but also software and hardware is, let's say, a key message for ourselves. We cannot do, we are not doing this journey alone. So partner networks for different geographical area is also a key. Gather data and deliver insight. It's really to look into the way in which we can improve quality, cost, service in our operations. So use the right data to take the really right delivery. Efficiency gain, everything is done to gain efficiency in the way to do fast reaction to the market, reducing time to market, improve performance in the manufacturing unit. Let's say look at a lot in energy consumptions, in everything that is normally in the traditional, let's say, Industry 3.0, let me say, is not easy to do. Now data comes from different parts of the machines, and the, let's say, infrastructure we have is easier. The problem is to choose the right data to be elaborated. Not all the data are the same impact on the and the efficiency. Governance and empowerment is important to have a central governance. Is important to have a good local empowerment. So in a way, and this we repeat, let's say many times, we have to think global, but also to act local. Let's say coming into our world-class manufacturing, as I said at the beginning, we are four big pillars. One is the production system, so which is the fundamental step, is the basement from where to build the house. We have integrated cost reduction, so the let's say activity which is every day running to improve the cost. Technology step up is needed. Industry 4.0, it is a lot about technology step up, but I will see not only buy a new machine, but also to make legacy technology able to be connectable into the world, and then footprint. So the logical worldwide presence we have is making this additional level of complexity that can be different actions in a different place and using maybe different technology. Why Industry 4.0? Is basically to improve the global productivity, to improve the global quality, and I would say services, including services in the quality. It's pretty much about interoperability, to open standard for communications, to have vertical communication, to have an horizontal communications. is about the information transparency. Is a data virtualization of the physical world. Is data sharing, is let's say very objective use of data in a way that can really help makes things happen, or different things happen, if you say that. Technical assistance, it is opening possibility of remote engineering and information-based decisions. So the decision process around the process is changing, is going to change, and it is pretty much decentralized, building autonomous system, building autonomous machine able to understand and change the status, building intelligence that is artificial intelligence that is able to manage a group of machines, understanding the situation is running. And if we are looking at the flow and the process, in this picture, I try to, let's say, animate a little bit the flow that we are following. That, by the way, everyone is following in the Industry 4.0. Is basically to build machine data into one digital platform. So to have a modern standardizations of the data, to have a connectivity, a secure shop floor LAN, let's say gathering the data in one environment. It is analytic insight, all the digital twin process in which the data is transformed in decision and are, let's say, helping all the steps of the productions, all the steps of running the business. And it is pretty much continuous improvement. So it's an integration of all the process in improving the control, in make action faster, and build, let's say, way to make automate some decision and let's say some informations. I talk about digital twin. Digital twin has to follow the whole process. It is really a huge opportunity that can now happen when we are, let's say, the right connectivity and the right data. Basically, we can go of what we offer to what we ship in a very integrated process, from the CRM, in which we can understand customer, we can really understand the needs, with the PLM, so connecting drawing to the single, let's say, CNC program, to understand what we build, basically loading data in the ERP systems in an automatic way, managing modifications, managing improvement in an automatic way, to understand basically where and when we build with MES, the manufacturing execution systems. So to manage the execution phase in a way that is really much more performing. And then to go to what we build, so to capture the data we have to store, the data that are being used for further improvement, that to communicate to customer if request, and what we ship, so to track and trace the product and the process that we want to have. This for me is a fundamental picture, is really representing what is the big change in running the business with the help of Industry 4.0 and the right infrastructure to be used in the direction to make efficiency in the organizations. The importance of standards is a fundamental step to work around the international standards. And the international standards are in those days quite well defined. I follow personally different summit. Sometimes I talk in different summit. but I would say the most important aspect on standardizations for what manufacturing is concerning is the use of OPC UA as a standard, is as an open platform communications architecture and let's say the compliances with OPC UA for all the machine is a fundamental step that I suggest everyone to follow in the way to modify the machines where it's possible to fit on that. And then for sure, the concept as a service is really important because remote management is becoming a reality. So when we go to the right side of the pictures, we have different layers. One is the network and security. One is the machine layer. Then we go to the SCADA, HMI, so in the way we are collecting information, the way we are communicating with the shop floor, with the workplace, in the way we are basically, let's say, managing the manufacturing execution system, the way we are managing the ERP systems, and everything is connected. Whatever is the system, there is possible the integration with different systems. Important is to follow the main standard in one digital platform, and we are building with let's say one SKF digital platform to work in that way. And it is basically impacting all in-house industrial operations. Then we go to what is, let's say, the takeaway we can have from our experience, my experience in the Industry 4.2 journey. One is, for sure, following standards. And following standard will increase the success in the digital manufacturing. And especially if you are working in a very international environment as SKF is working, this is becoming a fundamental step. Industry 4.2 will revolutionize the factory, but it's important to do one small step at a time, because not only because the technology and the level of investment, but because, as I mentioned, and I mention again, people factories are fundamental. Make a small step, standardize the small step is the best way to do it in order to consolidate the knowledge and to open for further development. Everything starts with a secure network. This is important because you do the things only once, and the communication is secure, external, but also internal. And for example, the architecture should be designed in a way that you have an edge, a fog, and the cloud. So the system should be designed in a way that is not depending from the cloud, but you can use the cloud only to retrieve what you want to retrieve. It is pretty much a lot of edge solutions in order to secure the system, the continuity of the activity independently from the cloud. And then, let's say, I said people factor at all the level of work and maintenance, engineering, managers, process and production knowledge. It is a key, because when you have to transform the knowledge into IT solutions, you should have the knowledge. And in the key core process in each company, that has to be fundamental. So working in the basic concept that for each company that are, let's say, the strategic knowledge drivers is extremely strategical. Then what we have in productions, I will take some time to explain a little bit what we have, what the highlights I can do in our operations. touching a little bit the real cases. One is for sure flexible productions. Flexibility is, let's say, we take a big benefit from Industry 4.2. We can have horizontal, let's say, flexibility. So basically, connection with supplier, sales, in a very, let's say, real time. So managing all the world in few seconds. And then we can have a vertical flexibility, which is the flexibility in each single operations, in which you are not working, let's say, with the usual sequence A, B, C, and D, but you can change the sequence in accordingly with the last needs. Robot is making automation. Robot is making enormous impact on that, because robots of today can really make operations. So we are used to see robot making handling. Here robot can make really operation inside the machine, can make maintenance, intervent, can change things, and this is possible, and is an area of in manufacturing which we are working a lot, and we have an extremely good example in this direction. Integration of AGV, automated in the smart vehicle, is for sure changing a lot the flow inside the shop floor, the flow and the material identifications, the material control, the right load in the right place, the right sequence. Is an area in which you can normally have a lot of manual activity and operators error in this mode. Making this automatically, we have seen a great change in the way we are making the flow management in a clever way and in organized way. Machine condition monitoring and sensorizations. We have also built a center in which we are building, let's say, the standard for refurbish the legacy technology. We are adding sensors in the machines for everything is fundamental for us to control. We have basically a part of our organization which is building condition monitoring. So we are basically utilize our product inside our machines to make the continuous condition monitoring and build out of that predictive maintenance, control of the cycle, control of the status of machines. It is extremely important in the way that you can use data for sensor to big, let's say, to design the law of our production, but also to make intelligence in the machine change the status in real time. Visualization and mobility tool. We have developed, we are using a system in which basically you can visualize the status of the sensor in this machine. You can visualize the status of the machine and the status of the productions, but also with some intelligence. So it is actually possible to have a communication between the machine and the man, and to have the right job sequence for the workers and to do. So this is an area, is not only visualization, but is, let's say, in intelligence of actions you have to take in order to make let's say the process efficient and under control. High productivity, for sure, this is pretty much the question in how the automation can replace the, let's say, person, clear, and in a way that we have to move the knowledge from the, let's say, from the machines into more engineering knowledge in maintenance department, and in the area to keep the machine under control. But for sure, reducing the time to make changeover, improving, let's say, the speed of production. This means productivity. Traceability and data, sorry, it is one of, together with the flexibility, is the area in which Industry 4.0 and the use of cloud is clearly really making a step forward, because you can go to different product identification, you can connect the machine, you can retrieve all the data, you can assemble the data you have in a way that you can connect with the product, and this can change also for different customer needs. So you can do this, I don't want to say easily, but let's say in a way that the technology can support, not in a complex way today. Last is a new technology, and the legacy is taking in consideration that a point that for me is extremely important. You have not to change everything in a while. You cannot. The company cannot buy everything from let's say completely new, but also legacy. So the actual technology, the technology that is going to become obsolete, can be refurbished, can be used in a way that can be really step up from the performance you have today. And it is fundamental, because at the end of the day, the investment are in the manufacturing are extremely important. You cannot change everything in a while, but also using better what you have is already an important step. And then summary, key message that I want to bring to all of you. It is basically that you can do with let's say, if you build a strong foundations, if you have the cultural aspect of your production system of standardized work, what we are very strong in this area, is the first step to do. If you don't have this is a problem, and also to build the flow in order. The management and the correct data. This is a fundamental step. So the way to work, let's say, according with your production systems is a step. Follow and request the standard. There are central standard, there are international standard, there are, let's say, company standard that can be built. We did our standard. And we are building organization to follow the standard, and if we change it or you improve it, to apply and to communicate. It's pretty much a question of balanced government empowerment. Think big, act small, and start to implement smaller steps. Don't wait for massive implementation. We are not expected to change the world in one day, but let's say every day to change something. Build an internal network to communicate, to learn more. Is almost impossible that one person can follow everything. Is let's say everything is innovate in those days, so it is important to spread, replicate, be present in the international community, internal community, to share information and innovations. We are working a lot to encourage and support the team, the people, acquire competence, and learn a lot, and doing and make awareness, because digitalization is a must. Is a question of productivity, and let's say a question of make a revolution in the company, what we are basically doing. So this is my material, my presentations. I really thanks you. And if there is some questions, some comment, if you can let me know, I am happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Really interesting presentation. I really enjoyed that. The summary at the end was pretty cool as well. I know there was a couple of people on the webinar that joined quite late that might have missed some of the early slides. But at the bottom of your screen, there should be some tabs, and there is a Q&A
Yes.
option, and anyone is free to type any questions in that box, and Roberto, I'm sure will kindly answer them. So if anyone has any questions, please type them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. We'll give you a minute to do that, and hopefully some of you do. Okay, so there's a question there, Roberto. Can you see that? Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I open calling. Is asking how long has it taken to implement and complete the process? Is a good questions. Is a very good question. It's also very difficult to answer, Colin, but it is, I would say, is not, I can answer in this way. It's not a process that you can start and you finish in those days. It's a project that you start and let's say you continue to do, because it depends pretty much your ability to spend money to invest, but also the organization you have. For sure, build the center of competence is a good start to make at the beginning a central knowledge area, let's say, area in which you can really let's say put together the things and start the process. So the answer is I don't know. It's difficult to answer. I could say it's important to start, and the speed and is pretty much relating to the dimension of your business or company. But believe me, also small things can generate big changes. Then I have I don't know, the Francesco, which is asking link between artificial intelligence and IoT. There is a strong link. IoT is pretty much to collect data in the way you collect the data, and you have to choose your data. And then artificial intelligence is basically build the algorithm or use the algorithm that, by the way, are existing to put together the data and to ask solutions, so mathematics, what your data are showing. Is an evolution of statistical mathematics. There are software available. You have to choose one of them. But I would say it is extremely important to collect the data and the IoT part to choose the right data to be let's say reworking the algorithm of the artificial intelligence. So those are the two questions. Okay, I receive a thanks for the answer. Thanks.
Good. Any other? Okay.
There is another one. Okay, Colin again. Where the sensor device developed in-house or where external device? Okay, good questions. In a way, in SKF we are lucky because we have a part of our organization is developing sensors for vibrations. It's a very good product. So in this way, it was very easy for me to plug our sensors and to retrieve the data for machine. Then we had used other part, which is let's say not included, not embedded in our SKF product. There are sensors available. The cost of sensor now is going down. There are sensors for machine. There are also sensors for people, like beacon that you can use, and the machine can understand, let's say, the person which are interacted to the machines. It can open the sacks. So there are sensorization is a word that is just open, and it is really nice to see. Then what to sensorize? my suggestion is not to exceed too much. You have to sensorize what you believe is making you a change in the performance. Then I have received from Renaud Di Francesco, can you give a view of SCADA, centralized view, multiple distributed view, SKF vision? Okay. Yeah, let's say SCADA you can use in a different let's say in many different way. Normally we want to have let's say a local visualization and analysis of the event of the flow. So flow as of the process should be controlled locally close to the machines, with the options that can be also reviewed in remote. So this is the let's say the vision we have, but it is fundamentally important that all the data are usable in edge solutions, so should be local available to make decision quick. And even if where we build intelligence, we build the intelligence close to the machines, not too much in remote. Some data, like for example the long-term data, whatever, can be used through cloud, but use let's say local SQL servers to take data to analyze, let's say the performance is the vision we have.
Thank you, Roberto.
You are as well, let's say in a way that you are happy.
Any further questions, guys? But maybe from Andy Dundham from GSK. I remember at the Smart Manufacturing Workshop in London,
okay.
He was pretty interactive with the Q&A and the discussion. So, any questions from you at all, Andy, or anyone else for that matter? Okay, well, we'll leave it a minute. If anyone has any questions, then please type them up, or after the session takes place, if anyone has any questions for Roberto, perhaps they can email me, Roberto, and I can ask you. And when you find some time to answer them, maybe we can do it that way. But of course, the session has been recorded, so we will be sending that out to all of our members for future reference and knowledge sharing. But Roberto, I want to thank you for hosting the session today. I certainly found it very interesting, and I'm sure the other guys did. It looks like we may be done with the questions now. Oh, okay, I think we have one more at the bottom there, Roberto.
In the bottom, let me check.
Standards for edge computing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Standards for edge computing. Okay, we are entering. Okay, I was using CMX specs for IoT to use 1 and 12. I would say I have not special advice in those specific IT. I would say it could be, let's say equivalent. I would say is not. Is not fundamental the type of we are use. We are use, let's say, M2M, yes, for sure, and let's say that should be really connected to the solution you want to have for the fog and the cloud. But let's say I don't have any specific suggestions on that.
Thanks, Roberto. Any other questions, guys, before? Okay, I think you might have another one at the bottom from Colin.
Yeah, let me go. As the work process redacted, the workforce chief could be retrained. Okay, that for sure there is a reduction of the workforce in the sense to make productivity, but redirect the force in increasing engineering. don't want to say stuff because we are basically creating, let's say, a workforce in maintenance, which is not staff, but with IT competence and sensorization refurbishment competence. So not really staff. Staff is not impacted. Clearly, the direct workers are be let's say, right-sized. Clearly, yes. Let me see if there are other questions coming. Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Only I understand is let's say reduced. So I confirm, let's say, my answer on that. Yes.
Okay. Any further questions for Roberto, guys? Or if not, you know, we can wrap up the call. And of course, as I mentioned, the recorded version will be sent out. And if any of you guys have any questions following that, you know, please let me know.
Okay. Very good.
Cool. All right, Roberto, thanks a lot for your time today. Again, you know, really enjoyed the session. Appreciate you coming on. And if there's no further questions, we'll wrap it up here. And I wish you all a pleasant afternoon.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks for everything.
Cheers, Roberto. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.